Hello friends and welcome. In today's video we'll be looking at how to design this elegant looking landing page. It's quite easy to do. But before we continue, I want you to know that I've created a Xamarin Forms UI template that can help you to jumpstart your Xamarin Forms development anytime you are creating a new project or you have a project you are working on. This template contains things like the light mode and dark mode. It is mobile responsive, it's elegant looking. Fingerprint authentication is implemented in this template. So why not just go ahead and check it out at devcross.com/shop, and you can use the coupon code that is on the screen to get the discount when you make a purchase. All right, that being said, let's get into the video of today. So I have Visual Studio 2019 open here, and what I have done actually is to create a main view model so that I can have data to bind to the view. And we have just simple things. We have a property here, and we have a method that returns a list of onboarding items, and then we have this class for our onboarding. So that's just all we have to do here. And also don't forget, before we continue, we need to go into our app.xamarin.ch to make use of to set a flag. So let's do set flags, and here we are setting a flag. We need new array, and we'll be making use of the media element, and we are going to making use of the brush. So it's going to be a string, media element, and then brush. All right, so I haven't done this. The next thing we need is to import the asset that we're going to be making use of. We're going to make use of a video, and in order to use media elements in Xamarin Forms, you have to add the asset here. So in this resource folder, I'm going to create a subfolder. I'm going to call it raw, and then look for the assets. The asset name is called event. It's an MP4 file. I'm going to paste this right inside here. So you see that we have events, and if you check the property, make sure that the property is set to Android resource. We're going to do the same thing for the iOS. If you're making use of iOS, so just right click, paste inside resources folder, and then check the property and make sure that it's actually bundle resource. All right, so I haven't done this. Let's design our page. So let's go to the main page, the XAML. Right here we have the default XAML here. So the first thing I want to do is to let's set the binding context of this page. So let's do content page dot binding context. I want to set it to the main view model that we have already created. So you can create your own. Is it just a class and create your own view model in order to be able to do this? So we're going to set it to the view model. So I'm going to call the namespace VM. Let's call it main view model and close it like this. If it's complaining, let's do control period to resolve this namespace. All right, so we have that. So what I'm going to do is to remove this stack layout. So I'm going to remove all this, and then let's use a grid. Now this grid will be will have at the background. The first thing we want in this grid is our media element, because we want to layer all these things together. So we're going to start with our media element. I'm going to put this by this side, and let's see auto reload kicking. So what we're going to start with is the media element, and let's give it a name. Let's call it BG video, a background video, and set the source. To set the source of media elements, you have to do something like ms app to go into the app resource column // event dot mp4. That is our asset. Then don't want it to show control. Let's set it to false. So we want it to loop, want it to autoplay, and want to set the aspect fill to true. The aspect to aspect fill is looping to true, autoplay is set to true, and the horizontal option, vertical option, we also set them to fill and expand. All right, so I'm going to save this now. We should see the media element currently playing, so you can see now we have that. Our design is coming up. So the next thing that we're going to do is right on top here, we're going to make use of a box view. This box view, we're going to set the background. So let's do box view, the background color, just background. And this background, we're going to have a linear gradient brush. We want the start point to be at 1,0, and then want it to the end point to be at 1,1. Then right here we now need we need 3 colors, so I'm going to just put them right here. The first one is going to be transparent, offset at 0. Second one is this color, offset at 0.9, and the last one is actually at 1. So if I save this now, you see now that we have our transparent working. So the next, right next on top of this, we're going to have a grid. After on top of this, we are putting everything on top of each other because we're making use of a grid. So we are going to make use of a grid right here. Let's just close this. So in this grid, that's where we're going to have our carousel view. Our carousel view is actually very simple. So if you look at this grid that we have, you see that we have three different rows set to auto, and we set this height. So in the first row, we're going to have our carousel view. In the second row, we're going to have our indicators. So our carousel view is very simple. So this is our carousel view. We have a name here. We are setting the indicator to landing indicator. We are going to create that indicator very soon. Then our data template, you see that data template just has 2 labels start together with some information. So the next thing is our indicator view. That's going to be in the second row of this grid. So if I save this now, and since we already have a binding context on this page, you're able to see our items. So you can see we have our carousel. If I scroll, you can see that I can scroll this carousel view like so. So the last thing on this page is actually the stack layout that contains all the 2 buttons. So you can see we have a stack layout here that contains 2 buttons. It's in the 3rd row. One is sign up, the other one is login, and contains all these colors and logs. I'm going to save this now and see. So you can see now that we have our button for sign up, and we have our indicator view here. The last thing that we need to do is to now make this to animate. So I'm going to stop this now. So in order to do this, we need to undo this in the code behind. So I'll go to the main page, the XAML.cs. The first thing I want to do is to create a method. Let's call it animate carousel. So right in this method, let's create this method, generate the method. Right in this method, we want to animate the carousel. So we need to use a timer. So I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to call it timer, and this particular timer will come from the system.timers. So there are 2 different namespaces. You have one for threading and one for timer. So I'm going to use the one in timer. And right inside here, what we want to first of all do is to set our timer to a new timer. Timer equals new timer, and let's set it to 5 seconds. That is 5,000 milliseconds, and we want to set some property, auto reset. Let's set it to true. Let's enable the timer. Enabled equals true. All right, so we have this. Then we now want to undo the timer elapse. So let's do timer dot elapse. Let's create a new method. I'm going to make use of anonymous method here. So just say s, e, and use a lambda expression to undo what happens when this event fires. So we're going to have it like this. So because we are making use of a timer and we're going to be updating the view, we want to make sure that we are on a safe thread. We are not we are on the UI thread. So in order to do that, I'm going to do device dot begin invoke on main thread. So we want to invoke this guy on the main thread, and this takes action. So I'm going to set the action with a lambda expression, and right inside this action, what we want to do, want to animate the carousel. But first of all, so in order to animate it, what we're just going to do is we can say CV onboarding, that's the name of the carousel, dot position, and let's add 1 to it, plus equals 1. So we are changing the position at every time. So this is a simple way to do that. But because we want it to be a continuous loop, what we want to do is, before changing the position, we want to check, because we know that we have 3 items. So if CV onboarding, if the position, if it is currently equals to the 3rd position, then what we want to do is to reset the position back to 0. So just do CV dot position equals 0 and then return. So with this, it will continue to go in a loop. All right, so let's run this now and see what we have in our design. All right, so as you can see that we have our carousel view now working. If you notice something, you see that the video at the back is not currently playing. So sometimes the media element does not automatically play, even though you have set it to true. So what I want to do is check at this point, at every timer elapsed, check if the current state of the media element is not playing. If it's not playing, then play the video. So let's run this again. So I'm very sure that by the time the Xamarin Forms media element is stable, autoplay should be working fine. But currently, since it's still in experimental, I want to believe that it's a bug that will be fixed. So, but for now, this is just a workaround to this thing not playing. So let's see, by the time this is changing now, our video should start playing now. So this is still not playing. Let's see, let's save this now. Okay, so as you can see now, our video is currently playing. All right, that's it, guys. That is how you create this type of awesome landing page. Don't forget to check out the login UI kit that I told you about and use the promo code, the coupon code on the screen to get discounts when you make a purchase. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it on social media, share with your friends, and I will see you in the next video.